Opa! Welcome everybody to Stavvy's World. 904-800-STAV. Call in. We'll solve all your problems. We have Rachel Feinstein here today. Feinstein. Oh, what are you?
I was just doing a little like imaginary fingering dance to start off the show. Oh,
Thank you. That's awesome. That is the kind of spirit. So wait, Stein. Is there ever a? How do we ever know if it's Stein or Steen as a Gentile? How can I ever
I've
be?
known you for a long time.
Well, I know.
Okay,
all right.
Find out your name. How would one roll down on that journey? Yeah.
I honestly believe in my head. That is very fair point that we have been friends for years now. I always thought it was like interchangeable. It was like a how you're feeling that day kind of thing.
No, honestly, I don't care at all. I just feel like it's such a heinous name. Like, what's the difference at that point? Like, it's not. You're not going to find it in porn. You know, there's no like Susan Weintraub's in porn for a reason. Yeah, my name has never done me any favors. Like, if a guy was setting up with a girl and he was like, "Do you want to meet this girl? Her name's Rachel Feinstein." You'd be like,
she sounds annoying.
Point her out to you at the party. Like, let's not jump ahead.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. It's the woman standing directly under the AC vent complaining it's too cold in here. That's who the name feels like it's gonna be. Whoa, how did I get here? And why do I have the sudden urge to tell you about my favorite ticketing app, Game Time? That's right, Game Time, folks. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code STAVVY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code STAVVY for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Right. It's just the only name I can think of less sexy than that is my great aunt's name. Everybody stop coming for a second. Just hold your dicks. Yeah. Edith Schneider.
Schneider.
Dear God.
Oh, that's tough.
That is rough terrain.
And I like it too because it's still pretty like fat. Like I thought it was gonna be a real long, lot of syllables.
Schneider.
Yeah.
She has the largest underwear you've ever seen in your life. She used to hang them in the back. She lived in Queens. She would hang her underwear in the back, like on a clothing line. And she would be like, I always put it there. And there's a marvelous, he's a gay fella that works for me. And he does it just right. He gets my panties the way I like them. And he airs them out. This guy, if he didn't like women before, he
this was it. Yeah.
This really nailed it in. Yeah. Can you imagine just fucking hanging up
his
some
job
old lady?
was to wash old lady panties?
I think that was part of his job. Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess he did her like laundry, like he was like a housekeeper or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
and he also just dried out her elephant size.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here?
Again,
are pirates
stop coming at home?
Are pirates about to set sail? Are they preparing? Are they washing their sail? Where's Captain Hook?
Also, my aunt had a if she was the most single person I've ever met, she no man even approached her in her life. Nobody even like winked at her. She was a heinous woman. God bless her soul. But she believed that you should be. She became obsessed with the fact that you should be able to open meat in like Flushing or wherever she lived and give it a sniff before you purchase it. And she talked about this all the time. Like she was always just piping mad about this. This is the strangest thing to be angry about.
That's what happens.
You should be able to open meat and give it a good sniff. I should be able to open sausages because what if they're rancid? Sorry, you were saying
that's
something.
what happens if you don't get any dick. Eventually,
you get furious about things like that.
Yeah. Because that's all you got. All that energy goes to shit like that. You know?
Right, yeah.
Poor girl.
She wrote so many letters to Consumer Affairs, and she proudly told everybody this. I wrote to Bess Meyerson, and I said I should be able to open meat and meat pies at the store and sniff them before I purchase it.
The thing is, I sort of see where she's coming from.
I do too.
You know, it's like in a perfect world, we would be able to get a sniff. But that's not reality. Then let's figure this out. How does it work? The guy's got to come back. You don't want it. The guy's got to rewrap it. I don't understand.
I know nobody wants like meat after like my Aunt Edith Schneider's snout has been in it. Wait, once she snouted it out, who's gonna watch her mitts on it?
You do not want that.
That's not fair.
You don't want
and that meat pie goes to who? The birds.
Yep, makes sense.
Birds would turn it down after Edith Schneider's
had a nice whiff.
After one snout rake, you can't resell meat. But she said, that's the name of my column, snout rake.
Snout rape.
She goes, I wrote to her every day. And I said, this isn't right. And I was very tireless about it. And this was part of the speech she gave me about, like, sticking to your dream. Was that she just basically harassed the head of consumer affairs for, like, 11 years.
I love it.
Because she had never even touched a dick. And
By
she
the
was
way,
like, and then I did get the law changed where you are now able... And there's a clause. She claims. I don't know.
Who on earth?
Her area of flushing that you can open. She wore this woman down so much.
She wore the alderman down. There's a 2x4 block in deep Queens where you are allowed to smell chicken breast and certain other forms of poultry, but it doesn't extend to red meat. That's as far as she could go. So she was is she the only like spinster aunt in the mix? Or
there was 3 aunts. There was Edith. Again, everybody just if you know what, forget stop beating off, keep beating off. There was Edith, Helen, and Rosalind, and apparently they didn't speak with Helen anymore, but Edith and then Edith and my grandma stopped speaking, Rosalind, because of some sort of argument over like a dish at Hanukkah. Like it's so dumb. This was how my family is. Like just not even an argument. Like that's it. I hope that bitch gets cancer. Like it's over forever. And they both sounded exactly alike, and they would call me and they'd be like, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." Like it could be either one of them. And they're like, "She's a terrible bitch." My grandma, like, she's an awful bitch. Do you know that she insulted my marvelous dishware? And she called it heinous. And so I do hope she dies from something particularly gangrenous. So, but that was it in my family. Nobody spoke to anybody. They were like some dumb ass shit.
And that's on your dad's side?
My dad's side. My mom's, it's all like wasps, and everybody's just kind of like pursed, and their feelings are down. Everything's pushed down. You eat over the feeling. Everyone was molested, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So your mom, I didn't realize your mom was a wasp.
My mom converted to Judaism.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was like more,
that's how powerful, by the way, the how Jewish your father's side of the family is. It was just like, there's no way to be around these people and not also become Jewish.
It's true.
Because it's usually, everyone I know is like, it goes to their mom's side, so I didn't realize that. But yeah, that makes sense.
So like you have to convert, but some people believe it has to be with an Orthodox rabbi. I mean, I don't know. My mom converted. I feel like with the name Rachel Feinstein. Like I've done my time. I'm a Jew now.
For sure. But like, there was not a moment that I met you that I was like, this is not a Jewish person. Not in a bad way, not in a Schneider, not in an Ethel Schneider way, but because I'm a big fan of, listen, anybody who grows up on the East Coast and becomes a comedy fan, it's like half the people that you're obsessed with from the age of 10 are all Jewish. Like, I was stoked to go to a bar mitzvah. I was let's see what the fuck these are about.
So the Greeks in general, are they fond of the Jews or no?
Next question. No.
Did your mom grow up and like tell you that we could smell coins from over like 70 miles away or something like that?
Not my mom, but my grandma. No, but
I would love to know like some sort of Greek fable about the Jews. Like
I put the joke in my special, so forgive me for just repeating it. But it is true. Where we were reading. I think in the joke I said it was a movie, but we were reading some like book, because my grandma grew up in like really northern Greece, and we were just like, my mom tried to like, when we were younger, really keep our like culture with all types of Greek stuff going. So she would like read to us from Greek books, even when we were like 10 or 11, and like my grandma would talk about shit. Like my grandma survived World War II. Like her family they fled the Nazis because her dad was a communist. So it was like she actually did flee with some Jews, like to get out of Greece. To
Yeah,
go,
but then as soon as she got here, she took a hard shower.
Listen, yeah. Oh.
Then she just scrubbed herself and wept like.
No. She listen. It was more of a like, all right, I guess you guys can listen. When we get to Bulgaria, we're both leaving, but
she was in a van with 2 Jews. Let's not overstate it. Yeah.
But then she's reading this book about a different like these Greek people in like I think they were Russia. I don't know. They're called Pontic. And we're reading this book, and it's from the perspective of this woman who's talking about how silly it was, like all the crazy things they used to believe. And she's talking about all these like, you know, old folk tales. And one of the things she's talking about is how she can't believe that, we used to think that on Passover, my mom would shut us in the house and not let us. Even though we liked our Jewish neighbors, we knew that on Passover, they have to abduct a child and drink its blood. I'm not even kidding.
That is absolutely
and in the book,
marvelous.
In the book, the lady's like saying this, like, I can't believe all the shit we used to think. And we're all laughing. We're like, what the fuck? Like, we're like 10, I'm 13, my brothers are 10. We're dying. We're like, are you fucking kidding? The whole family is cracking up. Like, they believe this shit? My grandma's just looking confused.
Like she's still like, that's amazing.
She's like, what's the? She's like, is this what's going? Did I miss something?
We're up to the funniest things. But, I mean, if you do read, like when I get bored, and I shouldn't do this, but when I'm trying to avoid like work or writing, I Google Jews control the media because there's some of the funniest stuff you've ever read. That's what I always do when I'm like I need to write. Don't start Googling Jews control the media again. But it's some of the funniest things you've ever read, like what they think Jews are up to. And it was also used as like a foreshadowing technique in novels, like Russian novels, to say that somebody was bad. They would like, it was said that he had a Jew cousin in the north. That's how you begin to realize a character might be on the dark side.
It's not like
there's rumored to have a Jew cousin in the north side.
You're not automatically like you're not automatically arrested when you hear that about someone, but they're like now you gotta keep your eyes peeled.
That's right.
Who knows?
You get pulled over, you're going to jail.
Yeah. But so and then it was so funny, and then we're all laughing. We're like, and it's like we think there's some kind of language barrier or she's missing something, and we're explaining it to her. We're like, oh, isn't this funny? They think Jews drink blood, and then she's like, well. But she said it. But truly, I say this in a joke, but it's so true. The way she said it was like we were being like judgmental of Jews. She's like, hey. Everybody's got their thing.
Sure.
Literally, it was like that. Where she thought Jews literally were like blood-sucking creatures. But she still's like, I have some Jewish friends. We get along. Like, that was her take, which is the most insane take. If you think they're monsters, you should be anti-Semitic. But my grandma was like, no, they're monsters, but they're cool people. Like, which is like,
a lot of people, when they do say things like that to anti-Semitic, they kind of like, they always do kind of say it like they're cool with it. Like, we know you're up to these things, but it's okay. You know?
There's a type of anti-Semite that has like a reverence for it.
They figure like, look, your God told you to do that. I get it. Like, if my God told me to go, like kill a hooker, I would.
And he does. The voices in my head keep telling me to strangle the next blonde woman I see. But there is something. Some racists. It's funny. They have like. It's almost like two athletes. Like an athlete that loses to a better competitor, they have that. They have that opinion towards Jews where they're like, look, you got to hand it to them. We're trying to win. Our race is trying to win too. But these people, they got low numbers. They knew how to get into the banks and the media. We're over here just trying to work hard every day and listen to Jesus. But they knew, get the lizard people, like make allies with them. And so it's like, it's the very funny. It's very
marvelously hilarious. Yeah. Like everything that's really racist and really anti-Semitic is the funniest shit you've ever read in your life.
I know.
It's a rip-roaring ride. It's a fucking roller coaster of hilarity, all of it.
Yeah, but Greek people overall, I remember it is funny when you grow up and everyone is racist, and then you're like, hey, what the hell? Like, I remember I went to, in my neighborhood, it was Greek town. It was still pretty Greek and pretty ethnic and pretty shitty we're talking Baltimore City in the 90s. It was a shitty elementary school.
Yeah.
And not every, but like a lot of the people there were fucking, a lot of like, people that now I don't, like friends of their parents were like, half the people were so weird and racist. And I remember like going to like public school and then being like, wait, these black kids are way smarter than those fucking idiots at my last school. And then I was like, wait a second. Are you telling me John Giannopoulos, the plumber who fucking lives in his father-in-law's basement, isn't exactly right about the other races? I was like, that's crazy. I was like, wait a second, he's pretty fucking stupid too.
Yeah,
and there is like a cloud lifts where you're like, oh, and you're like 11, you're like, huh. I never need to fucking talk to those people ever again. They were wrong about everything.
Wild morons
and
all along.
It was great because I felt like once I got there, I was like, oh, everybody's smart as shit. I could just, and honestly, realizing that made me just be like, I'm just gonna be the class clown. Everyone's smarter than me. Because in my dumb elementary school, I was the smartest one. And then you go to you go to like a real middle school where like the kids, no, half the lesson isn't to. I remember that guy who I used a fake name, Barely. His big lessons were like, stay away from gamblers, homosexuals, and Jews. And those were like his 3 big. And listen, it's not like black people were high on his list either. That was almost like that went without saying. You know what I mean? It's like
bring that up.
But gamblers, homos, and Jews, they can hide amongst us. That was his like big takeaway.
Goddamn homo. I had a guy pick me up at the airport once, and this guy was like, he said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York City." He goes, "I drove a tractor through that town once." Why? Why would he do that? And then it makes no sense. There's a real like supply and demand issue with that part of the story. And then he's like, it was crawling with Jews. They was all out celebrating their holiday, Rosh Hashanah. And then he said it like it was the most terrifying campfire story that had ever been told. And then he went on to talk about, he was like, I heard there's as many homos there as can congregate in the town squares lets them. And I always think about that sentence because it absolutely doesn't make sense. You could read it every which way, and I can't even begin to think what he thought was going on in the town square.
There's as many homos there can congregate as the town square lets them.
It's a terrific
That
sentence.
is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And
where is town square? Times Square? Is that what he means? Because you could fit a lot of homosexuals.
Must have meant Times Square. You could fit.
You could fit. I mean, look at, some might argue that's how gay people, that's why they started the New Year's Eve thing. Because you're like, let's get some numbers on how many people can fit. And that's the amount of gay people allowed in New York.
Pile up all the gays.
We'll take a census, and then we'll know that's the amount that we get to fucking suck each other in the park.
I dated this guy, this Russian guy once, and his parents were very racist. And one time I came home and his mom was weeping. I went over the house weeping in the kitchen. He said, my mom's really upset. I said, why? And he's like, it's just somebody my cousin's dating that she didn't approve of. And I went in there. She's like, she's a good girl, Rachel. This man is not even dark. It's like blue-black.
Oh my God.
Like she was weeping about this. Can you imagine? Like in mourning. What a wild moron.
Like she would have been more understanding if her daughter had committed vehicular manslaughter.
Yes.
Like she would have supported her way more if she'd killed someone in a car. She was crying over a sink
like she just had a miscarriage. It was that kind of like moaning, just because this guy, her fucking niece was dating like a black doctor. It's fantastically funny.
Yeah, it's tough because everything that's stupid, you just want to laugh, and then you're like, it does seem like they're picking up a little steam right now.
Yeah, no, I know.
People really believe that kind of shit.
My mom is warning me that about like so many things. She's always like, "Don't talk about that on stage right now," because I did something with the cross. This thing because it's like a bit I did in my special about how like I don't know how to do the cross. And my mom was like, "Do not do the tongue cross when you're in Alabama." I don't know how many Jews there are per capita there. She said per capita.
Yeah. By the way, you gotta hand it to a white woman, a WASP, that then converts to Judaism so that she can complain about being a minority. That is honestly some high white woman Olympics right there. That's like,
and her name's Karen.
Yeah, Karen Feinstein.
Which she's furious about. She's so angry about it. She still yells at me about it. She's like, "You knew about the damn Karen thing." God damn it. She's so angry about that.
Yeah.
She had a father that was like, if you had an opinion at the dinner table, you were called like a commie rat or something. So she went like way the other way. She majored in African history with a minor in black studies. Like she just, and my mom's almost races the other way. Like where like my mother-in-law is Colombian, and you could just see every time my mom's talking to my mother-in-law, she's just like, I'm talking to a Colombian. Like she just loves it so much.
The smile on her,
she's just so invigorated
on a white woman's face when she's like talking to a minority, and they're like trying to keep at bay something accidentally racist.
Yeah.
But it's always lurking.
It's just always around the dark corners.
Yeah, something like playing. Why don't you play some of that? Your music is so beautiful. It's like it's almost tribal. It's primal, like the kind of music a chick. Never mind.
It does get close.
I know.
My mom loves to remind me that whenever I say I'm on my way to the Comedy Cellar and she calls, she'll be like, did I tell you that there's a marvelous gay couple that lives in the West Village, Greenwich Village, and they used to go to our congregation. His name is Art and his partner, and they're just very fun and kind of funky grunge. I'm like, there's nothing to the story except that two gay people in New York. No other. You have to have other facets have to be present to have a story. No, it's not a story. A lot of our stories are like that. I'm like, there's not even the most basic ingredients for a story here. All there is just of a gay. You like to think about knowing a gay. Also, nobody says partner anymore. That's what you said like before.
I know.
When it was still like a little more like shunned more.
Partners now is like two white bisexuals that are a man and a woman call each other partners.
Partner.
You know what I mean? Like it's not gay people don't even say it anymore.
Don't say it anymore.
No.
He's a fucking boyfriend. Partner's
Yeah.
ancient.
Yeah.
Also, partner always immediately makes me imagine them sexually. There's something about partner that I'm just all of a sudden I'm imagining like my head is like a flip book of just like insane sexual fast positions. Yeah.
Partner means this guy fucks my ass. Interesting.
I assume that's where guys' brains work every day. It's just like every time they see a girl, they just like there's quick like flip book of like she's being punished and just
for a second
ferociously slam rotted in.
Well, it doesn't get that. I don't. Speaking from experience, it's not that crazy, but it is like you can't help it. Your brain does an audit of would you fuck this person or not, and it's like. Ding, yes, would fuck, and then keep moving. You keep it moving.
Oh, you just clock to yourself like whether you'd like to be inside them or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fascinating to me.
And by the way, it doesn't get graphic unless it's someone right on the line. Like if someone's obviously hot, you're like, yeah, of course. And you don't imagine fucking them. And if somebody's ugly, you're like, well, no, of course not. But if someone's like, you can't tell, then you get real graphic and you're like,
That's fascinating. So like if they're on the cusp of being hot,
you got to do your
when
due
you're
diligence.
flipping them around and just like really punishing them.
Bouncing them like a basketball.
Yes. And why is that? Is this true to you too?
Yeah, I think so. It's like what's going on under that boxy sweater kind of thing. Sort of need some info to take you over the fence one way or the other.
Yeah. You have to do scenarios. You know what I mean? Like
I wonder if it's because like if a girl's kind of on the fence hot, it's like she's trying to be. So she's tricking you. She's a naughty little whore up to her old tricks who deserves to be punished.
Ooh, that's true.
Slam-rotted proverb.
If she's doing any trying, I think it's an automatic yes in these scenarios because you're not actually gonna fuck them.
Sure.
This is really just, and this isn't even like front of
quick,
brain. It's like it's like you don't even control it.
Yeah. No, I know. I think that's. I've seen women before that are like extremely hot where. I could see for a second, like if I talk to a really hot woman, I think about what it would be like to be a guy talking to her. I'm not attracted to women, but I could see how it must be very distracting where like, I feel like when guys try to get, and then when they say real dumb things, I feel like when men try to get laid, it must feel like a video game, like where shit gets in the way, but you're just like sort of tunneling towards ass. Like you're like, oh, that goblin thing's here. And then you're just like, oh, she said this dumb shit. Like, but you just keep sort of disassociating and just trying to like get through it.
Keep
and
pushing.
just, annoying things keep coming. Like, oh, this drawbridge, and I'm going to have to fucking give this gold coins to this troll thing. But then in the end, I'll be like just knee deep in some fresh puss or whatever. I don't know.
I wouldn't even think it's that accomplished. Yeah. I agree with you that there's something to that, but I think it's more like it's kind of like remember if you ever saw Lord of the Rings where they kind of go through Schmiegel's backstory, and he starts as a regular man, and then he becomes the precious guy.
too
where
good.
it's, you know what I mean? Where it's like you start the first minute you're talking to an incredibly hot woman, you're just a regular human being, you know, and then there's the glimmer of the like ring of like, which is maybe she will fuck you.
Yeah.
And if you get that glimmer, then it's like you're slowly turning into this monster who's seeing less and less, seeing less and less humanity and just being like, "Can I get pussy?" You just have to like.
Yeah, it must be really distracting. Like one of Pete's firefighter buddies was over the other day, and I asked him if he went to this. We were talking about this gym, and he said. He goes, "Oh, I don't go there because there's too many girls. I can't while I work out. You know, like it's too distracting." I thought it was so funny. It's just so dumb that he wasn't able to like finish his workout. I mean,
that's next level. I'm being facetious, but for a guy to be like, "It's a great gym. It's a good deal. It's got all the equipment I need, but." I just can't focus when there's pussy around. Like he's a baby.
Yeah. And he
like
said it like it was the most like polite statement. He's like, "Oh, I'm not able to, go to that gym because unfortunately, there's humans I want to be inside of there."
Which is the same thinking that leads to full body hijabs. Just to be clear, that is it's not the dog's fault if the meat bowl is uncovered and it gets into it.
No, it's our naughty little idea to be a fucking devious slut and fucking parade our tits around and taunt people with them. Speaking of which, one of my neighbors, he always looks at me like they're like anytime super religious people always just look at me like I'm just such a disgusting uppity slut up to her.
No, so, is there something in the way you perceive them potentially? Or do you think everyone?
If you examine anything I've said in the last 20 minutes, the problem is me.
Every religious person looks at you like you're an uppity slut.
No, maybe uppity is the right word. That's fair. No,
but slut is, to be clear. You're like, uppity was the one you had a problem with? Your neighbor who knows you're a married mother looks at you as an uppity slut.
They're very religious. And one time, and the guy never speaks to me, doesn't say anything. And then, so one time I got out of this Uber, and he's always just glares at me like all my goings on, like all my traveling. He's probably just like, what a fucking devious little slut taking trips like this. And so he's always kind of disgusted and glaring. And then one time I was like coming back from Dubai, and he never spoke to me. Like oftentimes I'm like, hey, and he just like, he's old enough and like some sort of foreign blend enough that he feels that he doesn't really need to say things. Like when people say things to him, he's like, like I'll be like, hi. He's like,
what kind of religion we're talking? Christian, Muslim, Jew?
I'm not really sure but he wears like, I think maybe like Orthodox Jew, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he's disgusted with me. And one day I came out of the car and he's just like, and he goes, where were you? And I was like, he asked me a question. I said, I was in Dubai. I just got back from Dubai. And he goes, your husband, he comes? And I was like, no. And he goes, like he just had it.
Yeah.
And he was asking the question to be like, let me see what this godless whore is doing now. Like, what is she up to? Where does it end with this bit? He wasn't asking out of like fun-loving curiosity.
No,
he's like, where?
Yeah.
And I was like, in Dubai. And he's like, your husband, he comes. And I'm like, no. He's like, And he tried to kind of erase me like I was a shock boy. He's like,
That makes, you know what? I think you're right. I apologize. You're absolutely right. He does look at you as an uppity slut.
Yeah. Like, who gives me the goddamn right to take a trip without my fucking husband?
Well, if he's an Orthodox...
And where will it end? I need to be fucking harnessed.
Yeah. Orthodox Jew... Dubai also, I feel like, is famous for being like the place like a rich person will fly someone out to like, fuck that or sex traffic them or something like that. Also, it's rich Arabs. If he's an Orthodox Jew,
people call it Las Vegas if Las Vegas believes in God, because there's a lot of like prostitution and like extreme religion there. But all extreme religions, like Orthodox Jews or the Muslims, every religion, Christians too, like they're when you get the cult and shit, they just want to cover
super extreme sects.
Yeah, it's all just about covering us up, and they don't like to take trips. No, trips are not allowed.
Yeah, you can't go without a chaperone.
What if slut goes on a journey alone? She only goes out to search for gaggles of dick.
Right.
Yeah, I think in his mind, I was just in Dubai just lapping up.
Salt and cum.
Yeah, just salt and cum. Like it was fucking...
You're at the salt and cum pool on all fours. Like a cat drinking milk, drinking heavy cream.
Like we had like a really religious man come to fix something in our apartment once, and And the guy wouldn't speak to me because I was a woman, and Pete was at the firehouse, and I'm like, you're gonna have to look at me.
That's insanity.
Yeah,
his job. He was like
he was there to fix the stove, but he couldn't discuss anything with me because I was a fucking slut temptress. Obviously,
imagine being so sexist that you're like, that must have been a real conundrum to him, because he's like, well, I'm fixing the stove, which is the thing she uses, but I can't talk to her.
It's also kind of cocky, too, because it's like, oh, where do you think this is going to end? Like, she'll obviously be blowing me, and I'm not allowed to do that. I was like pregnant. It's a pregnant lady who needs her stove fixed, but it was to like, once I talk to her, she'll be on her hands and knees, clearly. I'm like, this deeply heinous man, too. He was just like a smear, and he thinks, of course, that I'm just dying for him to be inside me, so he can't even go down that lane, Once he finds out what's wrong with the oven, then that's it.
You'd think if you were pregnant, even to a guy like that, that means you're all right. 9 months,
she's already been
they're
stuffed
off.
up.
She's stuffed. They're off limits. For 9 months, they're a cow that's growing a man's child.
Yeah.
And after that, she'll be back to a slut temptress.
I do feel like, I'm sure that they probably treat it like the same. I have no information about anything, by the way.
Which I love. Keep
probably
going.
the same as like a woman on her period. Like you probably pregnant women also have to sleep in some little dog bed in the corner or something like that. Some sort of dog cushion.
Yeah, what is that? Not to sneak back into anti-Semitism, but what is the thing where it's like you're like there's like a bath women have to take for Orthodox Jews?
I can't remember.
They have to sit outside when they're on their period or something. Like there is that.
I think you have to write letters to different people in Congress and ask them to get more laws about your body.
Well, yeah, until you lose your period and then you're free. That's you either have to get dick down or annoy every customer service person.
Basically, everything that like fireman things happen when you take the vaccine to your body.
Oh God!
Speaking of which, and guys having this, I talked about this on stage, but it just has so much to do with what we're talking about. So firefighters are fixing everything in my house because my husband bought it with Bitcoin, and they fucking, I'm like, God forbid we get an actual plumber. Some guy named Anthony is fixing the toilet. I'm like, he's a lieutenant. He's not a plumber. We have like our lights are flickering right now. I thought we had a ghost. It was just because some guy named Gino is doing our electricity, who's not at all an electrician. And so these guys will come by all day to do stuff in my house because, God forbid, they go outside. It's like the mafia with the fire department. Go outside. You keep it inside. Even
inside
if
the family.
No degree to approach any of the things they're doing in our home. So one day I open the door and this guy's standing outside and he's like, Pete left and there's something wrong with the toilet, and he's like, he goes, I don't enter the home unless the husband is present at the time of the entrance. Have you heard a dumber sentence in your life?
God, to try and
just tremendous.
Not even being religious, trying to say like, look, there's some rules. Yeah. I can't be compromised.
Yeah, they call him Cap because Captain. He's like, is Cap home? And I'm like, no, he blew up the bathroom and left. Just have at it. Whatever. He's like, I'm sorry, ma'am. He fucking ma'amed me too.
Oh, that's brutal.
Also, ma'am is like the least sexual word. Like don't say that and then at the same time act like I'd be blowing you if you walk 2 steps forward. Yeah,
ma'am. There is no because like there's other like formal titles that have a sexual like flip to them, like obviously mommy, daddy, the classics,
Poppy, yes.
All those. But there is sir, even sir, like there is
kind of exciting.
That can on some, but like there's no like, oh yes, ma'am, fuck my ass, ma'am.
Ma'am.
There's no peg me, ma'am.
That'll ruin my day to get ma'amed. Oh, I hate it.
Maybe, and that's why there's no. Yeah, that's the worst one to be called.
It's terrible. I hate being ma'amed. Just makes me feel like I'm in the winter of my life. Yeah. I feel like osteoporosis old, just like a curled elder when some guy calls me.
Would you prefer madam?
Madam is absolutely retarded. Who calls anybody madam?
I'm sorry, madam. I can see that guy throwing it in there. Madam, because he's trying to be too formal.
Madam,
sorry, unfortunately, due to the circumstances at the present moment, I will not be able to enter the domicile without male supervision present at this particular moment of time in the day of October 2024.
If I do step inside your home of residence, I would naturally then be inside of you, and that would present some conflicts.
There would be
which the Lord would disagree with, and also on account of rank, I can't fuck the captain's wife.
Due to issues of rank, but not of your natural beauty, madam. Mademoiselle.
Now Madam is kind of working for me. Yeah. I think Maiden now. The more I think about it, I'm into Madam. Madam or maybe Maiden.
Maiden?
Yes,
but
Maiden
doesn't. But Maiden, because Maiden means you're unmarried. A maiden is
I forgot what that
it's
meant.
youth still.
I totally forgot what Maiden meant. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of the dumbest things I've ever heard said to me. I immediately laughed in his face.
Yeah. That's
like,
crazy.
And he said it like it was the obvious. He was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I do not enter a home unless the husband is present at the time of the entrance. I was like, get the
time of the entrance.
The time of the entrance.
So he has to be there to see you enter, but then he can leave. You can, after he leaves.
I mean, he's one of the kind of guys where, like, I hope he like doesn't see this, but like, it's like he's so dumb. If you like opened up his head, there would be nothing inside. Like, there would be like a potato and a cross or something. Like, I don't even think their thoughts form when you're that level of dumb.
Of course.
And again, if you see this, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, like it's not even like a thought forming. It's just like, you know, like I just feel like if you open his head, there'd be like a Jets towel inside or something. You know, like just a rally towel and no other ingredients in his brain. But he's like, he was like, you know, I don't. I'm like, get the fuck. Look, I'll tell you what. First assault's on me. I'll eat it. I'll tell you what. Fix our toilet, you wild emergency moron. By the way, very attracted to all of them, but you know, somehow the dumber it's some with some guys, it's like the dumber they are. You know,
see, now you're kind of making his point.
I am.
You know,
you're right.
He's so stupid.
I would have like blown him, but
yeah. I mean, I would have jerked him off.
I wouldn't have touched him. I've never cheated on anybody. By the way, I've never had sex outside a relationship or cheated on anybody. But in my life, I'm like the most prude. Like I have to want to cuddle. You know,
right.
There was a guy that I cuddled with in like 7th grade, and I remember I cuddled with him the whole night, and I just thought like, oh well, he loves me now that we did cuddling together. I remember leaving and like hearing him talk about me. We'd hooked up in this abandoned, not even hooked up, just like cuddled and French kissed. I thought I gave him a real rip roaring ride of a night. This guy was furious.
Boring. Oh my god, he was. You know what? Yeah, you thought you had a romantic evening. This guy was just pissed off with a hard dick for 8 hours. Didn't get a wink of sleep, hoping that was the moment you decided to blow him.
Yes.
There was no way he had a good time.
No. I thought he was slowly falling in love with me. And I left and came back. This is one of the moments, in case you're wondering like what went wrong in my life, that I'm like, you know, do everything I do. This was critical. I came back and I listened at the door. And my friend and I we made out with these two guys. And she at this abandoned house, and she hooked up with hers, and I just fucking Frenched this guy. I really thought I was gifting him with a French kiss.
Oh my god, I can imagine their conversation with just how pissed he was. Like, I just did nothing happen, and the other guy's making fun of him. Like, you're a fucking pussy, dude.
And I go back and I listen. I was like, I want to hear about all the things he says about me because he's falling in love with me, and I want to hear all the things. He was just like, bitch was on the rag, which I didn't even say. I love it. My dumb ear waited.
You're like, you're expecting some just like eloquent description of your beauty.
That changed the course of my life, that moment. I was like, what'll it be? Like, clearly I have a golden pussy that's worth waiting for. What'll he say about it? And even the chance of him entering me will just be so enchanting to him. He's like, fucking bitch was on the rag. Oof.
That's crazy to hear. And how old were you? Said you're like in.
I was like 15, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, 14
that's,
or 15.
That's pretty devastating.
Oh, it's rough. Destroyed me. God. He was so white too, just like that blonde white, like he looked like he fucking probably went to like rape tech or some shit. Just like one of those guys. Yeah. But yeah.
Damn, that's hilarious.
I just like was very like the first few even near sexual experiences I had since you asked.
I did, yeah. I love that we could just let you go the whole. We started with your weird aunt. This is actually. Let's just transcribe this. This is Rachel's one-woman show.
I do need to be put down like a dog. God. No one's asked you these questions. Just shut up.
No,
I really
please.
act like I'm answering things. I'm like, Tammy from Des Moines wants to know how strong women start out sexually. Nobody asked, bitch. I don't even know what I was going to say, honestly.
Please tell us.
I think I was just going to say that basically when I first started hooking up with guys, I was always bringing these weird like plays or these people that I thought they would want me to be, like these feminine, you know, like, and just like doing this thing that I thought was really working on him. And one of the things that I like saw in this soap opera,
soap operas.
That's
what a 22-year-old man is into. Is over the top, shitty acting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so sorry to all the men I've blue-balled with my horse shit. This next one's for you. Let me buy each and every one of you a hooker. I mean, yeah, I thought it was like cool to like weep because I saw like some meanwhile, nothing makes a guy more furious than in her bed crying. He doesn't even know you yet. Yeah, you don't even have
hard dick with a woman you don't know crying over something you had nothing to do with.
I'd be like, like pretend that I was like sad because I thought he'd want to comfort me. Like I really didn't know what I was doing. I was taking so many swings at what I thought men wanted from me.
So crazy.
So dark.
That's
your
very
first hookups. Did you like have like a persona that you would try with women at all?
No, because it was like I hooked up I made out and like, you know, got my little dick touched a couple times in high school, but that was it, literally twice. And then there was a long drought. And the first time I had sex with a college girlfriend that I was dating towards the end of college. So it was more like my crew, because we grew up together, we were virgins so long. It was more of like well, if we don't have sex soon, we should probably kill ourselves. There was no persona, there was nothing. There was just like, please God, let this happen. Yeah, or I'm going to fucking explode. So there was like, I weirdly think it. So at first it was just like I just truly, and whatever. I really did. I had a good, as far as like 20-year-old relationships go. It's like I really liked her. She wanted to like have a family, and I knew that I was going to be into stand-up. But at the time of our relationship, we really liked each other, so it kind of it was nice, honestly, because I loved her. It was not, at least what you think love is when you're 20,
sure,
So that was nice. But then I do feel like there was later on, there was like almost a persona of like, especially when you move to New York, and every girl just wants to fuck immediately, which is awesome. But they're also like, at least this is at the time that, it was like, everyone wants to get wildly choked, and everybody wants like.
Really? Truly. So when you came to New York, all the women wanted you to.
It was crazy, and especially if you're hooking up with a fat guy, I think there is like some daddy shit going on. So they wanted you to be like way more dominant, and I do think there was like a persona of me being like, yeah, I'm tough, because I just like accidentally did it a couple times, or I dated somebody that just legitimately made me mad, and I think she knew what she was doing because she wanted to provoke. Like there was like, and it did work, and then I was like, interesting, and now, so I think there was a period of pretending I was like,
some like
tougher sexually than I was, when it's like, to this day, I'm just like, when even like a girl will be like, what are you into? I'm like, I don't know, getting pussy, watching tits bobble. That's what I'm into. Like, I'm not a very complicated guy.
Music in the end.
I don't have a lot of I'm easy to figure out. But yeah, there was.
Just poured water all over my head. It's so funny. Watching tits bobble is hysterical. That's a great thing to put on your Bumble profile.
What am I into?
Hiking and watching cans bobble.
Honestly, yeah. In every situation. Clothed, unclothed, on a hike.
Choking just seems just a lot of foolishness. Why does that need to be involved?
Everybody, you would not have thrived in 20. When did we move here? 10 years ago?
2015, 2016.
2015. Young Rachel doing like plays, doing like seemed like a distressed damsel. Like you would not have done well in 2015 New York.
They would have kicked me right out of the bed, and they would have been right. Yeah, would have been absolutely right.
They'd like, get the fuck out, and just started swiping.
Yeah,
and just like immediately like, oh, this girl said she'll suck me off. Get the fuck out. Go take 3 trains back to your home. I don't give a fuck.
I really was a real hole in the team with all my nonsense. I was always just like overthinking it, like trying to get to the bottom of what's precarious thing. Yeah,
there was nothing to get to the bottom of. You were a hot girl that showed interest in them. That was all. That was really it. But You know?
I mean, do you guys know that lady Millionaire Matchmaker? She's just like this sort of like leathery woman that tells you what men want or whatever. I used to watch her just waiting, just every last tip. And the things that she said men want were hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And also, like, I remember her being interviewed on a show once, and her husband was just wildly gay. He was in the audience, and I was just like, there is no way this man's worst nightmare is to be inside a woman. Yeah. And the things she said men want were so fun. She's like, guys, like, they always say it like it's real simple. Like, guys like to be, they want you to make them a cake. Make them a cake.
Yeah.
Bring a cake, give a nice date, bring something from home. That's when you're in your feminine energy. You bring a little cake from home on the second date. Like, just like so weird on the second date if a girl brings you a cake. Like, I would think you're going to make a suit out of their skin. It's so weird. It's very strange.
Yeah, I wonder how
a second date cake. We all like cake, but it's
second date cake's a little much.
Strange. Yeah, it's unstable.
Yeah,
you'd be baking after one date.
Cake is fourth date at the absolute fastest, and that's if the first three were like the best dates of your life.
Exactly.
You can bring a cake in the mix the fourth date. Now, but if you made it seem like look, if a girl was like, I was just walking by a cupcake shop, I wouldn't see. Now the problem is I'm fat. So
I know. I'm like, damn, a cake sounds good. Well, what kind of cake is it?
The problem is me and Els are both fat, and if a girl did bring a cake, now that I'm thinking about it, if a girl brought a cake the first time I met her, but it would be like, I would be like, oh, nice, because it would also, and again, going back to how simple my brain is, it'd be like, this girl's she's already getting me shit. She's gonna let me fuck immediately. There would be that aspect too of like, if the first time I met a girl, she came through with a cake and she was like, if her thinking was, this fat guy wants desserts, I'm trying to butter him up, and that is what I mean. Truly, what works at the beginning, what works so much for me is just how tough is she going to make the line from where my dick stands right now to inside of her? Like, is there going to be a lot of waves in it? Yeah. And I will say, like, the best relationships I've had have started with some pretty quick, like, there hasn't been a lot of.
You get laid right away.
And
gets it off the table. Seems like that's what everybody does now. They get it out of the way.
And exactly. It's like, you'd think it's going to be an issue or like, oh, if you give it up. But it's like, women who have made me wait, it actually, for me anyway, I'm not talking about everybody. If we've waited a couple times, and again, on everybody's schedule, that's fine. But if we wait and I realize I don't like you before we fuck, I'm like, well, I'm getting this is fucking, like, I've at least gotten pussy enough in my life where I'm like, well, we've been on a couple dates and I'm actually looking at your personality, and your personality, I wouldn't lead with your personality, so for some people, right? But if you give me pussy immediately, it takes a month for me to realize you're annoying. You know what I mean?
So funny. That's a bit. That's really funny.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So I've definitely, which I guess is maybe what they wanted. They want to realize, like, hey, if this guy's not into me as a person, then I'm not going to give him any pussy.
You're just describing what dating actually is and like should be in a way.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, wait, I don't like this person.
Yeah.
But I will say this. The people I've thought of the most are the people that just are the best at fucking, or like at least we've had some kind of chemistry, and that will also rewire how I feel about them. But you're probably right. Ultimately, that might just cost me a year of my life. If someone's good at giving, someone has good pussy and I don't like them, it'll just take longer for me to realize I don't like them.
Yeah, so. That's confusing, and I think a lot of times, like, you know, like you can. There's two separate things going on. Yeah, that kind of chemistry, and then. But, you know, I mean, for me, I could be really attracted to a guy, but if he has like a lot of stories that I have to listen to, I don't care if you're fucking jacked.
That's why you married a firefighter. Yeah. This guy's just talking to you about how Joe Biden's tracking everything we're doing. You can do with conspiracy theories, but boring stories, you're like, I'm good.
I don't care for a story. I can't. I mean, we're comics too, so I don't need some guy was telling me about some crazy thing that happened on his vacation. Ugh.
That must be difficult for women, because I feel like women comics specifically, because I feel like guys think what you want is someone to entertain them.
Yes.
Like they think, oh, she's funny. Time to show her how funny I am. Yeah. Whereas like no girl dates girls date comics because they like someone who's funny. Yes. Whereas guys date girl comics because they're like, well, I'm fucking funny. I'll show her.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that must happen a lot, which is so annoying. It's so easy. It's so much easier to be a man. It's hilarious. It's so much easier.
I also think there's no guy that's like trying to find a funny woman. Like that's not high on any man's list. I feel like the fact that I'm a comedian has always been just like a liability for sure. Like
I think you're probably right. Unfortunately, I think and especially if people are insecure about that. Because if you're funnier, a lot of people funny is something people just think they are. Men particularly think they are.
I mean, women too. Girls come up to me after shows and they're like, I'm the crazy one. I'm like, yo, like,
you're
I'm
right.
the crazy. Like, and I'm like, no, you're just pretty and guys want to be inside you. So they tolerate your horseshit stories.
They're like, that's so, Jenny, oh my God. Can I get some hand? Like it's that. They've gotten that their whole lives. Like, I'm actually fun. But I guess, you're right.
But I think that guys use it more as like an oiling device to get laid.
A lubrication device.
They use it as lube. But however, like I love it when guys are funny. I just don't like. I feel like there's this like, I don't know, like this sort of like instinct, and probably for you too. Just for people to think they have to put on performance when they're out with a comic, and then just
but see the thing, if I catch you're right, because if I catch one whiff of that, I'm like, all right.
Forget it.
This is not happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another mark of like of maturity where I have like literally recently I've just been like, if I just don't like someone, I don't have to pretend to have a different personality until she fucks me. Now I can just go about my life. If I'm annoyed, I'm like, even if she will fuck me, I'm like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Because that is so frustrating. Like the performance and the like weird like
so uncomfortable. Like it's just like
bringing up comedy stuff. It's like
it's so terrible.
I want you to hate. If possible, I would love to marry a woman who hates comedy.
Yes,
absolutely. Doesn't want to hear about it. Doesn't have any opinions on podcasts. Don't bring up anyone to me.
Comics do not want to talk about the business or about other comedians.
I would love a woman who hates,
or what they think is funny. Like it's like they list you what they think is funny so that you can like tell them they're correct or not correct.
Right.
I want to get as far away from that subject as possible.
Up.
Like just like it, but don't like want to talk about it. My husband will like. Not first of all, he likes comedy, but never wants to watch anything I do.
Big Maniscalco guy.
He likes Maniscalco. I came home one day and he was just like playing. It was like funny, but it was like Key and Peele sketches from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just hilariously laughing.
Honestly, I've been watching those a lot.
Those are really funny. That was the problem, is they were really funny, but it hurt because I'll be like, oh, should we? He's never wanted to watch anything I've done. Ever.
Which is so funny. We should say you have a special on Netflix, probably now, Eldis, May 24th. When is this coming out?
May 21st. Is my first hour special on Netflix.
May 21st. It's called Big Guy on Netflix. I think when this comes out, it is May 21st, or it will be very soon. So it's either out or it's coming out. Quickly, Eldis. We talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
What?
It's out.
It's out. It's out now.
It's out now because it's May 27th,
It's
of course.
May 27th, as we all know.
Somebody's going to get a serious thrashing for this. I love we talked about this. I was like, oh, you probably say that in bed, too. We talked about this before.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm going to have to re-spank you now.
That's Eldis's punishment for bad producing, is I spank him.
Whoa, I'm back. And I want to tell you about Game Time even more than I did at the beginning of the episode. The Game Time ticketing app is my favorite ticketing app out there, folks. All right? Even if they weren't giving me money to tell you that, it would be the truth. Here's why. Last minute flash deals. I respect that, and I respect the fact that it's all in pricing. I hate getting my ass bungled. I hate when my tushy gets piped by fees, hidden fees. I hate that shit so much. No fees here, all in pricing. You know exactly what you're getting from the jump. And like I said, the flash deals, I love that shit because I'm in Baltimore this summer, okay? Baseball's the kind of thing, they play 200 fucking games. I'm not going to make I can't plan my life around their games, but Camden Yards is a beautiful ballpark. I'm spending my summer walking around, checking shit out. And if I happen to be in the area, I check Game Time's flash deals. Holy shit. $7 tickets for the O's, last minute, buy them right there. I do it. I get them immediately. That's what I love about it. They know that we kind of got them by the balls if we wait a little. I'm a deal hunter. I'm a bargain hunter. I like playing Russian roulette with the event or the venue, whatever, and being like, look, I only kind of want to go to this fucking thing. I'm only going if it's a deal. And that's what it is. Game Time is the ticketing app for deal hunters. And look, if you just want to see something, you're set on it, they're there for you too. I'm strolling on it right now. They got incredible stuff coming to Baltimore this summer. I just realized Hans Zimmer's going to be here. I might see the motherfucker playing his beautiful scores at where's he playing? The CFG Bank Arena. I'm scrolling around here. Like I said, O's are coming through. I just saw that we got a monster truck rally. That I might actually buy ahead of time because I want the best seats. Whether you want a deal, you want the best seats, you want just to know exactly what you're going to pay for immediately, Game Time's the app for you. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Stavvy for $20 off your first purchase. $20 on me. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Stavvy, STAVVY, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Hey, the Are You Garbage Boys are coming to Baltimore. Buy their tickets off Game Time, and maybe I'll pop on the stage too. Cool.
Go watch Big Guy on Netflix. It's out right now. And why don't we start taking some questions, Ellis?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's go
What
to a
do we
caller.
got here?
Hi, Stavvy. I'm in a tough
Heads are gonna
situation
roll.
with. Hi, Stavvy.
This fucking
I'm
guy.
in a tough situation with my parents. So, I've always been kind of closer with my mom than with my dad, and she sort of confided in me and told me that she's had a secret boyfriend for 7 years. And
What the fuck?
you know, like she trusted me enough to tell me, but then ever since finding that out like a few years ago, I feel like I'm keeping a secret from my dad, even though
Because
it's
you
their
are.
relationship.
Yeah, you don't feel that way.
Maybe
when
not
you're
my
doing
place
that.
to tell him. I just feel like this has affected my relationship with him and also my relationship with her because I'm kind of pissed.
Yeah.
that, like,
She has like a
won't tell
fucking
him.
side piece.
Part of why she won't come clean to him is because they run a business together. Their lives are very much entangled
Holy
as like
fuck.
life partners, business partners, but they don't really have a romance going on. And I want them both to be happy, and I don't want them to have to like uproot their lives.
Their happiness
but
is
I
not your
also,
responsibility.
Thank you.
It's frustrating that their relationship is basically a lie. That this really important lie is just like I want the truth to come out without like
Yeah.
ruining their marriage. So
Well,
if you have any advice, that would be
Without
awesome.
ruining their
I have no
marriage.
idea what to do.
I'd like to lose 100 pounds without dieting or exercising, but guess what? That's not fucking possible. First of all, let me just say, your mom wins dumbest bitch of the year award. What a fucking that's ridiculous. That's so shitty of her. First of all,
It's
like
horrific. I mean,
it's
what
like-
a wild asshole.
like, and I'm not even talking about getting dick on the side. I'm talking about telling
the daughter.
telling
No,
the
of
daughter,
course.
yeah.
Maybe they have a separate thing or
Yeah.
whatever. Like maybe they're like basic. I mean,
People, cheating is one thing that is like, or whatever. They have this bad relationship. It's still fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but to tell you, and then to force you to just kind of keep the secret is incredibly selfish of her. She basically is like, I could imagine her being like, oh, it feels so good to get it off my chest. And then it's like, yeah, because you've burdened your fucking daughter with
to
it.
your own daughter.
That's
It's
so shitty.
outrageous. What a ludicrous asshole
That's
your mom
so
is.
shitty. And-
you need to just follow a lot of those accounts that are like tell you what to do with a narcissist because just go on Instagram. Here's my advice. Follow everything that's like this because you are gonna have so many problems because you think you're responsible for your parents to be happy. First of all, their marriage it's a wrap anyway.
Yeah.
But you have nothing to do with their happiness. And yeah, you just need to listen to everything Patty Stanger, Millionaire Matchmaker, says about women on.
Well, yeah, I mean, so look, literally none of this is your fault. Like
This is
you're
how
saying.
a girl starts baking cakes for guys on the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
date.
yeah,
She thinks
yeah.
she's responsible for
Start
everybody's
baking.
well-being.
Here's what you're gonna need to do, baby girl. Find yourself a nice husband to get you out of this situation, okay? No, but truly, this guilt and this, like, your mom's truly a piece of shit. And honestly, if I were you, yeah, I mean, you want the truth to come out. I think what you need to say is like, here's the best case scenario, right? Sometimes it's too hard to do this shit, whatever. I think you should tell your mom, like, look, it's really unfair that I get that you trust me, and on some level I appreciate that, but it's incredibly unfair that you've saddled me with this. The guilt of this is really difficult for me, and I need the truth to come out. I at the very least need you to start
the
process of divorce, of like, I know your lives are tangled, but this is eating me alive, and it's like, what's more important to you, your business or your fucking daughter's well-being, basically, right? And, now I don't know if
that was a really good monologue. Yeah, you should take some extensive notes. Saddled was also a great word choice.
Yeah, but it's like, and I don't know if this person will then, like, the kind of person that confides this to their daughter,
she's probably
going to be a bitch about it. Exactly.
Exactly. Everything's about her.
She'll
She's always
flip
the victim.
it around. Right. That's a possibility. And if that's the case, then, and you've always been close with your mom, whatever. Honestly, if I were you, your mom has put you in the kind of position where you just need to get the fuck away from your family, to be honest with you.
Yeah, take a break from them.
Because if this guilt is eating at you and you're like, I just want them both to be happy, which is obviously what people want, like when parents divorce, like that's the mature thing to want for your parents. But like, she's put you in a position where you also don't, it shouldn't be on you to break it to your dad or to like.
No, it's so inappropriate and
it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's just so, and it's like, yeah, you have to detach as much as you can from your family, and you're not responsible for their happiness or anyone's, or for their choices. She should never have told you that. She should have had better boundaries.
Totally.
Go to a hostile amount of therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
And detach from your family and just try to reprogram yourself that you have no responsibility in any of this. She owes you an apology. She
owes you an apology, and to make this right, she has to fuck it. Like, the only way she can make this right is to just actually, like, start to separate the family, start to do things in a healthy way, because it's when someone tries to make you an accomplice to their lie, that is so fucked up. That's one of the things that I found the hardest in my family was like, there's a lot of pretending. There was a lot of just like, there's a lot of pretending for other people. There was a lot of like.
Can you give me an example?
We'd go to Greece and my dad would make it seem like we were doing a lot better than we were to our relatives over there, because he couldn't just admit that
he was struggling,
right? Or even like, we got into, I've talked about this story before, but like, we got into a fight with another kid one time. Me and my brothers fucked this kid up, and my dad, who always would talk about like how important family is, like to show the rest of the community that he had his sons under control, like hit me in front of everyone. He like fucking slapped me.
Oh my God.
And it was,
Stavvy,
I know, it was crazy.
So angry at him for doing that to you. That's horrific.
And I remember being like, I almost thought my dad was going to be, because he would say shit like, someone fight, you have your brother's backs, like somebody, whatever. But then when push comes to shove, it would be like, to him, the idea of what other people thought was more important, right? Than your actual whatever. And that was the hardest part, and the way that I was even able to start rebuilding family stuff was just being like. Did you ever
confront him about that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm working on it with my dad. I've talked about it on the podcast where it's like me and him have a tough relationship, but we're trying to figure things out. It's a little we're in the middle of it. It's a little complicated, but so this is. Honestly, this is kind of like a more distilled version of that, where it's like one huge lie that everything else kind of teeters on.
That hinges upon.
Yeah.
It gives you such a recipe for like just insane levels of anxiety and fear. And yeah, you're not responsible for.
And it sucks to give someone the advice of like, fuck your family, get away from them. Like, I know that sucks, especially if you're a nice person who really wants the best for them. And look, ultimately, if you can't do that, if you're close with them, I understand that. I'm just saying this guilt, your mom put you in a position where part of me is like, is she trying to get you to say something? Like, you shouldn't have to keep a secret from your dad. You shouldn't have to keep a secret for her.
Also, whatever you do is fine, because now that somebody's put like again saddled you,
you
with
have
this
carte blanche.
Insanity, do whatever choice feels right for you, and you're not going to fix anything. The relationship's already broken. If it feels better to release it and tell your dad, fucking tell him.
Yeah, it's up. It's
your mom
totally
should have
up
told
to
you in the first place, and do whatever you feel like doing, and give it a hard break from these people. I mean, my mom overshared, not about anything that like insane, but like. I know that feeling when, like, my mom's always I mean, the first time she like held my daughter, she's talking about like our neighbor's lupus or something.
Yeah,
she can't. She's always telling me dark stuff about people I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
like, or we were on vacation once. Not a vacation. I was on a trip, and I was like, she was staying in the room with me. I was on a gig. She came with me, and like in the middle of the gig, she started telling me about one of her friends. Who was acting out sexually, and I was like, wait, doesn't she like drive my carpool? She's like, well, Rachel, she's really acting out sexually and weaponizing her sexuality. And she always acts like I backed her into the corner with listening to this shit. I'm just finding out this bitch that drove my carpool is like whoring around. Like, can you give me a minute to digest this? And then she's like, Rachel, she's bipolar. And I'm like, why is any of this? Why are you telling me any of this?
Yeah,
so I know that feeling of having a parent that tells you. My mom told me so much stuff that, and she was a therapist, and she would tell me about her patients. Like, I had so much in my mind about these dark, weird stories, and, you know, so-and-so was accosted and it ruined her sex life with Roger. And, you know, like, I always had these weird things and weird rules in the middle of it, like, you know, people, and that I should have known. She'd be like, people with breast implants are depressed, Rachel. I'm like, why would I? What's happening?
Yeah.
She was always doing that with me. So I just felt this big sense, and still carry the sense of responsibility for everybody's emotions in a room. And it's like the biggest thing I work on in my whole life is I think I'm emotionally responsible for everybody. So just like, it's like the seed of codependence.
Yeah.
So just try to like realize that you can detach from anything that doesn't feel good. And,
And I also
that's
think,
okay.
and I think like she sounds pretty young. I don't think she's told us her age, but like, I also think there's a natural time in people's lives where you do I do think in your 20s, it's totally normal to go do your own thing, figure out who you are, and, you know, maybe if you want to see them for holidays or whatever, but, you know, there was a very important time in my life where I was figuring out how I felt, because you spend your whole life around these people. You don't get any time to think about how you actually feel about them, right? And like, there was a big moment in my 20s where I just was like, you know what? Fuck this. I literally didn't see my family for a while. I figured out what was bothering me, because when you're in it, you don't even know. And I'm sure if you took a little space to just think about this stuff, you would come up with a whole host of shit that, you know, that this big lie is in context of, you know?
Yeah, and I also think you'll find a peace with them eventually too. So like anybody, it's like you know, like even if your parents were disturbed in a variety of ways, like kind of figuring out how they were and realizing that you're not responsible for might help you accept whoever they are, or you know. So I feel like that's true with my mom. Like just realizing like, oh yeah, like there wasn't any reason that I needed to like you know any of this. That you know, the lady who drove my carpool was like sampling dick around our neighborhood. It was really not
in that Volvo, in the same Volvo.
She bonded through telling me about like other people's like sort of darkness, or you know. So it's just like whatever, and that's
weird and potentially illegal as a therapist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The other thing you could do is buy a prostitute to frame your father. And if you're a real girl's girl, you know, frame your father. Make sure your mom gets the whole business. He's out on the fucking street, and he got cucked for 7 years. If you're as toxic as your mom, that's what you should do. But good luck.
That was amazing.
Good luck, little buddy. Damn, I feel bad for her.
I know, she seems lovely. I feel for her that she's sweet and she wants to fix things, but she can't. It's not her responsibility.
No, it's your fucking parents. Next one, Eldest.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Jess. Hey, Eldest. I am a mom with a 2-year-old, and I am trying to take this Mr. Rogers approach on life, where you let them experience everything for the first time without taking away their joy. But in the same breath, I ain't gonna lie, this motherfucker be ripping up my house. I really enjoy watching him have fun, but at the end of the night, I get pretty tired. And this little fucker be ruining my whole house. How do I balance and moderate between allowing my kid to have fun and then being like, wait a minute, motherfucker, you're wrecking the whole house.
So amazing that she thinks Mr. Rogers was saying that kids should just rip up your floorboards.
You want to say hi? Hi. As he rips up my house.
Yeah, we got a first baby.
But I want to let him have this joy. So what do I do to find a balance to not rip my hair out, but also let my son be a kid? Thank you guys so much. Your podcast is great. Congrats on the Fat Rascal.
Thank you.
And hey, guests. Hey, Elvis.
That's very sweet the way she says your name, Elvis.
Yeah.
Hello.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, that's tough. I mean, you have how old's your daughter?
My daughter's 3, and
okay.
it's true that when they're toddlers, they just like rip shit up. I have a bit about it. Like I'm like, my daughter will turn out a room like she's looking for coke. Like she has 24 hours to leave the country before a drug dealer shoots her in the face, and they do it fast too. Like they turn your place out. She's right. But I don't think that Mr. Rogers was ever saying that you should just let them destroy your property. Like I don't think that was his vibe. Yeah. But I think I mean, you just have to like have reasonable boundaries with kids. Like, I mean, look, there's no like, nobody can give you a book about parenting. Like my friend that's like pregnant, she keeps sending me these articles, and it's like, it's just like the Finnish way to be responsible with children. Like it's not like that. It's just one day at a time. Shit happens. Like you can't raise them with a philosophy. So I understand if you're
It's
overwhelmed.
survival.
It's just like, I mean, I like there's like I bribe my daughter sometimes if I need her. Sometimes you just need them to put their fucking coat on because you have to go. And she's just flipping the fuck out. Like, my daughter wore like a princess dress to school this morning because I was trying to get packs and I didn't want to argue with her about like wearing it. She's wearing a full ninja costume. Once she wore like a Spider-Man thing with like the muscles, like it had like the 6-pack. I was just like, fine, like. Also, I've also like put so much confidence in her that she's always like, aren't I beautiful? And I was like, in that Spider-Man costume, just like hulking muscles. I'm like, that's not exactly the word I would grab right now, but I mean, in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but she's so.
You might have yourself a little masked lesbian on your hands. She feels the most beautiful in a muscle suit.
Princess in high heels, or she's like goes to sleep the other night. She just fell asleep in a ninja costume. I was like, I'm not arguing with her about it. Why not? Like, she can be a ninja. Yeah, she's full on. Like she was like holding her little like ninja tools. Like, just cuddled next to her.
That's adorable.
But I feel like it's. I mean, it is like negotiating with like a terrorist sometimes when you need to be out the door. But in terms of your home, no, you can't just let them destroy things. I've never thought that had anything to do with like, like letting them grow as a parent. No, I feel like kids need boundaries. We always overcorrect what we didn't have,
True,
so like I lived in like a super permissive, just every feeling you had. My mom was like, let's start an orgasm journal. So I'm like boundaries, but then I have to remind myself like, you don't need that many, like, so like I would, so you always overcorrect what you did. But I think like, in general, just, there's no part of exploring that needs to include like destroying property. So like as much as you can, just like take something away. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like because we have a close friend who recently, he's like almost 2 and he's toddling around right now, and other friends of mine who kind of have a lot of kids in the same age range. And I don't know, I feel like what I see a lot is that there's areas where the baby can just go buck wild.
Yes.
Like, a room where it's like, look, that room is going to be a disaster zone, and you can't do shit about that. Or even a couple rooms, right? You just be like, look, his room, the playroom, and maybe part of the living room is going to be a fucking mess for the next year of your life. You have to just be realistic. But like my friend recently just renovated, they have like a little basement area, and they were never really using it. And then she redid it, made it kind of like a place where adults can hang out that the baby's just not allowed in. And that has done wonders for her mental health, because she's like, it was like a little project she did. Because I also feel like, I don't know if you feel this way, but she was just talking about how sometimes you just feel like, especially when a baby's that young, your identity is kind of stripped, and you're like, am I just a fucking mom?
When I was just became a mom, very isolated.
Which you can totally see, because the baby, you have to, being a mom, especially the first couple years, it's like that kid doesn't give a fuck about anyone compared to their mom. Like latches onto their mom, needs to be with
and
their
every
mom.
need you're trying to sort out, like if you're allowed to, what needs you can service of your own versus theirs. Like my daughter woke me up twice last night. Like she came up to my bed. She'll compliment me as a way to get in the bed. She's like, "That's cute." It was like a black scrunchie on my wrist. I'm like, "Don't work me. Just come in bed." She's like, "Where'd you get that?" They're like, there's so much going on, but just childproof your home. You're right. Just childproof or a room, and there's gates. You need gates. They are like little terrace. My mother-in-law, she calls my daughter Terremontico. She's like, Terremontico. She lives somewhere else. But you have to just put but you can't let them like Yeah, they need to feel that. So you just like put them in a room where that's like childproof, where they can go,
go
bad
buck
shit,
wild.
and just don't put any like French vases in there or something.
Yeah. But yeah, also there's just a little bit. I feel like 2 and 3 is the time where they are just gonna fuck shit up.
They do fuck shit up. No, they do. My daughter rode on her like brand new couch. Like we got a West Elm couch, and she was just like, and like happily too. I just walked in and she was just like, "Look what
Smiling,
I did. I'm terrific."
Markers all over a $1,400 couch.
We just brought it home too. Just like, oh yeah, they do. But now and then it gets a little better though. Like 2, they're like just ludicrous, fucking maniacal psychopaths. 3, they're like, now she's like charming me and kind of working me. It's more like a car dealer now.
Right. They're starting to get their little personalities, and like by 4, they're little kids that you can actually, actually reason with. They're still children, right? But like, they're not like absent-mindedly going to be fucking shit up as much.
No, it gets better and better. Now she's like almost 4. Now it's like fun. Now I want to freeze her now before she because it's such a fun age. But it's like it's hilarious. Even when she's like working me, it's funny.
Of course.
It also gets funnier. It gets better and funnier. Not that sure that's what you were looking.
Because they're so dumb, but they're so much smarter than they used to be.
I know.
And so they just like know that they're like when a baby figures out lying, so awesome.
It's hysterical.
So funny.
She's like figuring out how to manipulate people. It's hysterical. Manipulating is so funny from a kid. And she kind of like handles me now, you know? She goes like, she'd be like, you could get that for me. Like, I'm like, as if I didn't have the confidence to make you a bottle right now. She's like, I'll do that.
Yeah. I believe in you.
I pick her up from school. She gets a listening sticker when she listens at school. It's so cute. She's obsessed with that sticker. Like, and I feel for her because I was always, and I mean, whatever it was, I didn't get that shit at all.
Yeah.
So every day when I pick her up, I'll be like, did you get your listening sticker? Because I know she's thinking about it. Let's get it out of the way. And the other day I picked her up and she goes, sadly, no.
Sadly, no. That's so
like she
funny.
handles me with things. Like she's just like, I'm like, don't take care of my emotions around this. Like, I could do with her without a listening sticker.
I don't give a fuck about the sticker. I'm trying to be nice. I'm making conversation. So good luck, pal. I mean, it's tough. This is just, it's the reason they say the terrible twos. Like, there's a reason everyone has the same experience as you. So let that be kind of nice that you're like, all right, well, everyone's gone through this. This is how everybody is. And you don't have to let him, you're not stealing his joy if he's got a cooking knife and he's taking apart pillows. Yeah. And he's getting all the stuffing out of your goose down fucking jacket. So good luck.
They need the limits to explore too. Like the limits are really good. It makes them feel safer. They shouldn't feel too powerful like as kids. Like that's what you need to be able to explore is like some parameters around it. I think like I remember people overtalk to kids in that stage too because they don't understand what you're talking about yet. Keep it very simple. Like these long stories, all you see is like some Brooklyn twat telling her daughter about like some experience she had once herself and trying to over relate. It's like, no, this kid just hit a bitch in the sandbox and it's that simple. Just take the shovel away from him. Yeah. I remember this kid used to always beat up my nephew every time we played together. And one time, it's hilarious. It was just like we all the adults would hang out too. Like we'd crack open a beer and then it'd be like, oh, we're going to have to go. Like he's just repeatedly attacked my nephew. And we couldn't even hang out. He just was too alarmingly violent with him. And it's funny too because a lot of times it's just the kids. Like he was being raised by these kind of like gentle, like Williamsburg lesbians, and he was just this he had a wild look in his eyes. And I remember the mom talking, like over talking this, and she was like, "We do not hit in this house. This is not a home where we hit." And he was so confused. He's like, "No, we hit." He's like,
"I hit all the time."
He's like, "I just did, but I don't know what planet you're on."
I'm gonna keep hitting. No one hits me, so I hit other people. It is really funny. Like a friend of mine was telling a story, and I had, my friend's real artsy, and had and like I think his friend. This is a secondhand story, but it is so funny and shows you how just babies are just gonna go. Most babies are just a certain way. Where this kid was being raised by, maybe they were lesbians, or maybe it was like just a very, he they she they couple kind of like gender. Yeah, and they were like, we are not gonna like gender our kid. Like we're not gonna raise him. He'll whatever he wants. Like, but there's no blue, no like masculine stuff. And this baby, the second he's outside and he sees a big ass truck, he's like, oh! He was like, he could not get enough of huge trucks. And his like, they, them mother was like crying about how it was like, it's like, yeah, most people are a certain way, and then it's like, don't be mean to the ones that aren't. But like, yeah, your little ass baby, he loved, every fucking little dude baby I know loves trucks.
Oh my God,
and
the
there's nothing
boys
you
in
can
Frankie's
do about
class too, my daughter's class, like I went in to visit her class, and like, the girls were playing these like very intricate games in the kitchen, and they were usually taking care of someone. The boys were just like slamming into me, just like these fucking irrational psychopaths. They just kept slamming. That was their game, was just to slam their bodies together. I'm like, that's not a game.
Me and my brothers would do that all the time.
Too?
Yeah,
I don't.
We played very violent, like a very violent version of soccer in our small hallway, where the goal was, it was like a very small hallway, and on one side was our grandmother's room, and on the other side was the stairs that you went down. So it's like, and it's literally, you can only fit, and you had, the one goal was if you get it past me and go down the stairs, and the other one is if you get it in our grandmother's room. And it devolved into just running directly into each other and fucking each other up and just getting the ball in. And then sometimes we would fall down the steps. We would just fall down. We would just slide down the steps. Yeah, it was fucked up. But yeah, it was very fun. Now at the same time, if you're the opposite and your kid, you're like, yeah, my kid's gonna be a fucking power lifter. We're gonna get him a baseball bat, and if he just wants to like paint his nails, that's cool too. But it's gonna be statistically fewer of those kids.
Definitely.
Anyway, hit us with another one, LD.
Stavvy, esteemed guest, thank you for taking my call. I am a student teacher at a very large school district, like top 5 biggest cities in the U.S. And my regular teacher is out, so I had a substitute teacher in. And there was this very pretty lady who I noticed right away, and I talked with a little bit before class started. And we had a little bit of a rapport. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I started teaching class for the rest of the day, right?
Remember that Schmiegel thing I was saying earlier, where you start as a human being and then slowly you turn into like, nah, can I get pussy? We are watching it. I don't know how the call's gonna end, but you see how it started. Oh, this very nice lady. We have a rapport. That was the glint. He just saw the ring flash in her pocket.
It's so gross. Like I'm witnessing something so disgusting.
Now we don't know
that lizard moment where he changes from a man to a lizard. Starts lizard.
Now let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. And on an episode recently, I was wrong. I think I called something wrong, but I have a feeling I'm right about this one. Go ahead, Eldis.
Cool. And then I started teaching class for the rest of the day, right? And she's just sitting in the back because she's a substitute and she doesn't have to do anything because that's my job. But the last period of the day, some of the girls in the class started like asking if I was having a good day and like pointing towards the student teacher or the substitute teacher in the corner, right? And they're like, oh, you should be having a good day because look who your substitute is, right? Trying to like hook us up. And then they're like asking what her favorite flowers are. And they're like, what's your favorite restaurant? Oh, where's that? Oh, Mr. So-and-so. Isn't that the neighborhood you live in?
Damn, salute to these kids.
That's so crazy that her favorite restaurant is in your neighborhood.
And like trying to do all this, like,
dude, these kids are awesome. I'm about to fucking be a teacher. Salute.
Stuff, which in some ways was like super adorable and nice, and in other ways like there's like an appropriateness boundary that I have to like maintain because they're children.
Sure.
And so, the end of the day comes around. And the substitute leaves because, she doesn't have anything to do. And she leaves, and then all the kids are like, oh, Mr. So-and-so, why didn't you ask her out? What did you do? And I'm like, get out of here, guys. Like, leave. But here's the thing. I was going to talk to her and ask her if she wanted to get a drink at the end of the period, but the kids, like, sniffed it out.
Yeah.
And made, like, this weird boundary situation happen where I, like, don't want to, like, have too much of my personal life in front of them. And so my question is because the substitute teacher would have an email in the school district email, is it weird if I look up her email and then ask her out through email after the fact?
Incredible.
Sit at your desk, lock the door, and beat off. furiously. Flap around like a fish on the floor.
Yeah, dude, beat off before. Hey, yeah, go to here. Do me a favor. Pull up the school district, the directory. Then click a tab over, go over to X videos, jack off, click back over, and then do you still want to look her up?
Yeah.
And if you do, then I don't know what to tell you, but you won't, hopefully. Let's finish what he has to say. I mean, I'm sure we got it, but still.
Opportunity, because I don't know. I feel like I should have like held her back just to talk to her for a couple minutes and see feel it out that way. But now I'm kind of just left with a random email option the next day. But I don't know if that looks stalkerish or weak or not. So any advice you have would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not about strength, man. It's about looking strange as fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry your kids blew up your opportunity to, let's be honest, not get pussy. What are the odds she was going to say yes? You're like, we had a rapport. And it's like, really? Or did it just a woman, co-worker? Yeah. Like how, it would have to be the craziest rapport of all time for you to think this is a possibility. Was it anything more than she was just nice at her job?
Yeah, when they
and
say
even
rapport,
if it was
it's real tricky. Yeah, that's a slippery slope. Was she just being kind to you, and then you were like, "Well, then a logical next step."
And now I have to find her email and in writing try and fuck a coworker with her fucking city school email. Like, this is the least smooth way to go about this, and the most. It's like, okay, let's think about the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. Best case scenario. She's like, great, let's go, let's go on a date, whatever. Worst case scenario, this woman's like, she never responds to you, immediately sends that screenshot to HR with, I felt very uncomfortable in his class. It seemed as if he had asked the children to wingman him. I'm not exactly, I felt like, I was being looked at as an object. Yeah. These kids were talking to me. I'm not sure if you put it up. What if she's just convinced you put them up to it?
Also, what if she has to come back another day? Like, now the whole thing is it didn't know.
You cannot email. You cannot look her up. It's insane that you think so. You have to jack off before you call us. You have to get other pussy outside of your workplace. And look, if the Lord smiles on you and you bump into her again, she has to work there again, or you just see her in the real world, then fine. You can ask her out. And I do think there is something to, I mean, it's still a little weird to try and, it's a coworker, man.
No,
and you're a
you should not be
teacher.
looking or searching. No, don't look for anything but Aquaphor. Just fucking.
Well, I guess he's a student teacher, so he's not going to work there.
Also, I feel like
she's a substitute teacher. So in terms of the
teacher thing is interesting,
because it's like if he's only there for a month or 2 months to observe essentially, and she's a substitute teacher. Student teacher means she's probably in college. Substitute teacher means she's probably same age, right?
Okay.
So there is but still, you did lose your. Now let's take the appropriateness out of it. Let's say it's a wash because of these situations. As a woman, if a guy that you sort of worked with one day on a temp job, and then he just the next day finds your email, you don't give him any way to contact you. He looks it up via the professional directory and tries to go out with you. How would you respond to that?
I mean, I would assume something's terribly awry. It's not yeah, I did have that happen one time, with a guy that I kind of thought was attractive. And I was in a dark, haunting place, so I did end up dating him. And then, yeah, but then he was unwell. It's not a good sign. Now, as a healthy woman, I would see that as a major red flag.
So you never know if this woman's reeling. If this woman's reeling, you might be able to take advantage of her and date her for 8 months.
She's a substitute. Her
She's
life
a
can't be going
substitute teacher.
that well.
She can't be going that good.
I also do feel just the fact that she is a substitute, isn't that it's not like people who are subs want to be teachers or something.
Right.
And it's if she's young and cute, I'm sure she's just doing it to have some sort of
make
gig or job.
Make $80 a day.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure the last thing she wants is to fuck a teacher at the school she's teaching at, especially a guy who's clearly like blushing and getting bashful.
Yeah.
When the kids are like trying to flirt on his behalf, and she's just seeing this guy like
for a second,
smirking.
giving you this cock assist that you think is such a,
I do love
it's not
that.
this like uncanny, lively opportunity they presented you with. Clearly, they just like see you basically coming in your pants, and they're like it's distracting
They're
them
kind
from
of
love
making
division.
fun of you.
Yeah.
They're kind of trolling you while also being your wingman.
Yeah, no, they were. It wasn't like she was gonna whisper, and if she was the kind of woman that was whispering in the kids' ears,
She's like, ooh, these 11-year-olds think I should fuck this guy. Maybe I should.
yeah.
So yeah, listen, dude. I'm not, look, because of all the context of it, if a organic opportunity to be like, would you want to grab a drink came up, you could have taken it. You lost that opportunity. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Let's put it that way. I personally wouldn't do it. Eldest, how do you weigh in here?
I wouldn't do it. If anything, I would try like stalking on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe getting in that way, but the directory is crazy.
Here's what you do. The second she walks out and you already missed your opportunity, you set your Tinder and your Bumble and your everything to 0.5 miles, and you just start swiping until she comes up. And that's really the only thing you could have done. And director's crazy, and Rachel says she wouldn't as a healthy woman. Although the biggest thing in this guy's favor is the fact that someone did it and it worked on your dumb ass 5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
10
and then
years
the
ago.
same guy also put like spyware on my phone. I think I told you about that
told
guy.
me about this. Wow, that's that guy.
That's
It all
the
started
guy.
with an email. Oh,
yeah,
no.
I did something for like a TV show he was working on. He like sent me like an email after about my performance, and it was just like he sort of like softly handled, and then I mean, then he went. I mean, I would just find him like sitting outside my work. Just, like,
Oh my god.
yeah, no, it wasn't good. No,
Yeah.
he turned out to be pretty alarming.
A real loon.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good. No, it's not good.
Another thing too
It's
is
a
like
disastrous move.
in 2024, email is like such a cold way to like get in touch with someone about like personal shit or something. It's so like business.
Yeah.
It's like handling shit with your landlord, that kind of thing.
Once
It's like
a girl hit me up over email once because she didn't have social media. She was like, I don't have it. I got breasts attached like it was a PDF. I got a titty picture attached to an email. I did end up fucking that lady.
Okay.
But, she was cute. Actually, I feel bad because it was email. I think I just fell off communicating with her.
You mean wait? So you never exchanged numbers once you fucked her?
I guess I did have her number. Yeah.
No, you probably emailed her your address. You son of a
No.
bitch.
I gave her my.
Keep it
'cause
clean.
It's weird to fucking
Yeah.
get pussy over email, but I did have her number.
Wow, she
but
sent a titty pic and email. There's something so funny about
It
that.
was.
It's hysterical.
It was, but and I
please
guess
see attached.
yeah, please.
Please see attached. This is so
And
funny.
I think what's really funny is I think our friend who handles like logistics and stuff and does like some assistant stuff. She was like, she sometimes she'll be like, if I miss some email, like important emails, she'll be like, hey, you should follow up with this. And then she, within like, hey, you have this meeting, you have this other. I mean, it's my best friend. Like she's the person we were just talking about with her kid. Like I only hire people I've known for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, but she was just like, LOL. Also, maybe take a look at this one. And it was like this girl. I don't think she saw her. I think it was titties were sent on a subsequent email. But
amazing.
Anyway, yeah. But you're right, Eldest. That's such a novelty that I'll tell that story and people will be like, that's hilarious. To actually try and start a real relationship over email it's a while. Yeah, it's a while. You think she's got to like clear out her like her Lululemon code, like all the sales and all this shit. To get through your shit. Yeah.
Yeah, just beat off. Just lay on the
Just jack
carpet.
off, dude.
Yeah.
Just
Better off
jack
just
off,
closing up
mate.
those school blinds and fucking.
I'm gonna say don't beat off at the school. That's I'm gonna give you some slightly different advice than Rachel. I'm gonna say don't take your cock out at your work desk that children learn in the same room where children learn.
It's time for popcorn.
Get a little popcorn.
Email her a picture of your hard cock under the desk while the kids are taking like a quiz.
Yeah, or
That
with
is amazing.
yeah, send it to her official school email with your official
Just
school
take
email.
something from the classroom that she touched and rub it on your dick at home.
Or even funnier, send her a picture of you jizz leaking out of your khakis that you were wearing that day. Be like, this is what you did to me.
Go home and fuck a manila folder.
All right, that was pretty fun. Good luck, dude.
I should probably go soon because I have to do like one more.
Yeah, no worries. We'll do one more. We got a fun one, Eldest?
Always.
A fun one to go out on. Let's do it.
Okay, Stavvy. I am in desperate need of somebody who can give me some like quality advice on this. Okay, so I'm planning to like go do this thing in a couple months, and I'm gonna be staying at a hotel for like almost a week or something. Right? I'm gonna be there for maybe like 5-6 days. And anyways, I recently started using a bidet, and it's been so amazing. I never want to go back. Is it kind of crazy of me to get like a $35 bidet off of Amazon or whatever and take it with me like to the hotel room? Like, is that something you've considered? Because like, if you think about it, I mean, if there was like a hotel that said, hey, for like 35 extra bucks, you know, we'll give you a bidet, like I would pay that in a fucking heartbeat. But like, yeah, I don't know. Thanks.
Okay, I unfortunately have some personal experience that I would not like to have with this question.
Okay, great. Fill us in.
My fucking husband bought a traveling bidet.
You know what's so funny? You're about to be on an island here.
I will send you a picture of it today.
I'd love to see it.
You want that.
No, I'd love to see it because
I need to know. You know,
I have started having this thought because I recently became a bidet guy.
Pete would love to talk to you about it because he likes to talk about toileting a lot.
Yeah. Send him my number. Let's get chatting because our good friend Sam Morrill. See, it's not just you whose last name I still don't fully know. I'm always not sure if actually I know it's Morrell, but for a while I didn't know if it was Morrill or Morrell.
Or Moral.
Or Moral. I don't think it's Moral.
It's anyone's guess.
That's
Sam is like probably my best friend. I just barely know.
See?
I'm not confident.
See?
You were right and I was
Thank
wrong.
you. Wow. Now you took all the air out of my tires on that one with the immediate apology.
I just realized like how full of shit I am. That happens to me a lot. Pete, that was the first thing. Maybe the first or second thing this motherfucker got when we were quarantined and I was pregnant. There was like all sorts of shortages. He's like, I guess I'll just get like a traveling bidet. I'm like, why? That's not the crisis that's coming up right now. That you need a traveling bidet.
I don't know.
He always brings one. And I'm like,
what does
all
it look like?
I think is that I'm like, it just, and I know I shouldn't say this, but it just makes him look gay to me, like I'm like that he's just who knows, maybe I'll need to fuck be knee deep in some stranger ass when I go with you to fucking Arizona next week. Like It doesn't. Yeah,
and
but
you think
he
needs a clean asshole for that.
He loves like he got some sort of turbo toilet.
Look this up, travel
shit.
bidet. Yeah. I'd love to know what they look like.
Go ahead, but
I want to know what they look like.
It's like small thing and it's like a little sack that he packs.
Is it that thing? Is it?
Yes, he's got a little sack or like a tote bag for his bidet.
Interesting.
It infuriates me.
Because in the Muslim world, everyone uses a bidet. Like they'll make bidets out of water bottles and shit.
France too, I think.
People
do have like bidets and. I mean, why not? There's nothing wrong with a clean asshole, and my great grandmother said that to me first, I believe. But there is nothing wrong.
That's a direct Edith Schneider quote.
With a clean asshole.
There's nothing wrong with a clean asshole. I should sniff meat. If the meat doesn't smell as good as my clean asshole, I don't want it.
You should be able to open ass and sniff it before you eat it. Edith was right. All this to find out Edith was right.
Justice for Edith.
You should be able to open ass and sniff it before you eat it.
So look, man, we're all, I appreciate that you're a bidet guy. I'm actually in the market for a travel bidet. I don't know what the best one is. Because it's just, one of them is, those look like just
Pete will
water
tell you,
bottles.
he did some research. My husband tries to get to the bottom of everything.
I literally want to know what he decided.
I'm going to text it to you.
Please.
Literally, I'm the kind of bitch that I just want to make a decision really fast.
Yeah.
I need some bitch to be like, this shampoo or all the other shampoos, your hair will all fall out. My husband always tries to get to the bottom of things. And when he was researching a traveling bidet as we were falling asleep at night, when I was like, I've never been less attracted to him. He's like, he was like really just swifting through the comments, just seeding through all the comments.
Yeah.
Why? Just
I get that. I get locked in though sometimes.
Really? You research things?
Yeah.
I don't at all. Like I don't even know.
Things.
I'm probably the problem here yet again, but I don't even know. This is really crazy to end on this, but like I don't even know. I mean, I now know, but I didn't know what kind of car we had because he talked to me for a long time about it. I just became archaically bored that I was just like, oh, I don't know. And then he's like, I'll never forget like how excited he was when he made a decision. He's like, oh, I think I'm going to get a Mazda.
It does feel great when you finally make that decision.
Click in the right one.
Because I'm the same way where certain things I do need
really
to do some.
Over vet them.
Truly, the bidet went with a Toto too. Thanks to Sam.
He has
too.
a Toto too.
Yeah. See. Wow, see, it's all
can't go wrong.
It's all coming together.
Okay,
the
you guys
Toto
are right.
washlet. In fact, I bought one for Baltimore, and I just got one. It just shipped today for here. I'm going to be putting it on. I'm going to be installing it later today, so I'm very pumped. So we're pro bidet here, buddy, and use who advertised with us? Tushy. And in fact, you know what I said about bleep out the one I said I had, Eldest, actually. And put me saying, I have a Tushy. I have a Tushy bidet. You know, they haven't paid us in a while, actually. Fuck them.
No commitments this
No
fiscal
commitments.
year yet.
You know what? Fuck. Well, I'm not going to say fuck them because we'd love to have them back on. I used to have a Tushy because I loved it. Then they stopped supporting the podcast. I was forced to, try something else. I'd love to go back to Tushy. They're just going to have to make it worth my while. And so, buddy, it's up to you, man. I would say if you're going to use Tushy, use promo code Stavvy's World. And if not, get yourself a little. They do have a good, I will say back to actually sucking Tushy's cock a little bit. Their travel bidet did look pretty good. I was eyeing that up. It did actually look good. And you know I mean this because...
He was eyeing it like a substitute.
I was eyeing it like a substitute.
Spring morn. Like a pair of substitute t-shirt cans. Riper than this day is long.
Bobbling up and down the linoleum hallway.
Bobbling along.
So yeah, we're pro bidet.
Shit.
And, we're pro bidet and we say you do it, buddy. Just do it. You'll have a clean ass. You'll be fine. And then you've made a commitment. Now you have a travel bidet for the rest of your life, and you use it everywhere you go, dude. Next tour, if you don't think I'm bringing a bidet, you're out of your mind.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty pro bidet. I do feel like when you're in a hotel, like that's a place where like you just hop in the shower after
That's
you
a good
take
point.
a shit.
That's not a bad point.
I feel like I'd need a travel bidet more like if I'm staying with family or something. Or there's like no fixed environment that my asshole is used to for the shitting.
Why don't we just
routine.
get your sister a bidet for Christmas, man?
How about some wipes? What the fuck?
Something
Not the same
nice
as
about
a
the
fucking
bidet.
shower shitting up your asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
You
not
feel
wrong.
clean.
Yeah.
You feel real clean.
But yeah, I feel like when I'm in a hotel, that's when all bets are off. Use as many towels as you need.
All bets
Fucking
are off. It's
make
an
yourself at
hysterical
home.
thing to say about cleaning your own asshole. All bets are off. Anything could happen.
Anything and everything is going up Eldis's ass in a hotel. Do not use any of the bathroom fixtures. Don't use any of the sinks after you've stayed in the same hotel as Eldis. I'll tell you that much.
All bets.
All bets
Go
are
way
off.
off the table. When it comes to my inner anus. Good God. This is the most ludicrous expression to grab for that. That was amazing. That made my fucking day, Elvis. Tell you what, all bets
All
are
bets
off.
are off when I'm in a hotel. Well, there you go, little buddy. We support your bidet addiction, but more importantly, everybody, go watch Rachel's special out right now. Rachel Feinberg's special. Did I say it right?
Rachel Fine Menorowitz.
On Netflix right now. It's called Big Guy. Hilarious. Thanks for coming, Rachel. This was so fun.
I hope your asses are just as clean as they can be. Here at Stavvy's podcast, we want the very best for your inner asshole.
We really do. We really
mean
do.
you're worth it.
You're worth it.
Thank you so much,
Of course.
Stavvy.
Bye, guys. See you next
Coming up.
time.
Bye, you guys.